the quiet solitude of your deepest nights or amidst the deafening chaos of life's fiercest storms, when the last flicker of hope seems to fade, have you ever truly wondered what happens when you cry out to God with unwavering faith? Not a mere whisper of a wish, not a casual request, but a profound, heartfelt lament, a guttural cry from the depths of your soul, infused with the most potent force known to humanity: absolute faith. This isn't about mere words uttered into the void. It is about that desperate, unvarnished plea that arises when every earthly solution has crumbled, when every human comfort has proven insufficient, leaving you with no other recourse but to cast your gaze upward. Perhaps you have felt overlooked, unheard, or even forgotten in your season of struggle, wrestling with questions that pierce the very core of your being. You might have found yourself questioning the very nature of divine intervention, asking if your voice genuinely reaches beyond the veil, if your pain truly registers in the vastness of the heavens. It is in these moments of profound vulnerability, stripped bare of all pretense, that the true nature of a faith-filled cry emerges. It is not a performance for an audience, but an honest, raw communication between your spirit and the spirit of all creation. This is not about rote prayers or empty rituals, but about that sacred, intimate instant when you realize there's nowhere else to turn, no other hand to hold, no other ear to hear, no other comfort to find, except in the divine. We often approach God with a mental blueprint of how we believe His response should manifest. We outline the problem, present our desired solution, and then wait, sometimes with impatience, sometimes with mounting frustration, for that specific outcome to materialize exactly as we envisioned it. But what if the divine reply operates on a different spectrum entirely? What if the answer isn't always a direct, immediate correction to our circumstances, but something far more intricate, more profound, and ultimately, more transformative? What if the very act of crying out in faith, despite the absence of an immediate, tangible fix, sets in motion a cascade of internal shifts and external alignments that ultimately redefine your reality in ways you could never have orchestrated? This journey we are embarking upon is an exploration into a spiritual dynamic often misunderstood, frequently oversimplified, yet universally accessible. It's about recognizing that the divine echo to your fervent call is not merely a transaction, but a profound engagement, a sacred partnership that transcends the limitations of human logic and expectation. The power of a faith-filled cry lies not in its eloquence but in its authenticity, not in its volume but in its sincerity, not in its ability to dictate terms, but in its capacity to surrender fully to the wisdom and love of the Creator. Prepare yourself, because what you think you know about God's response, about the divine echo to your fervent call, is about to be radically reshaped, expanded, and perhaps even revolutionized. This journey is not just theoretical. It is an exploration into the very essence of spiritual connection, a testament to the undeniable, often mysterious, but always perfect, power of a faith-filled cry. You are about to discover that when you truly cry out to God with faith, you are not just heard, you are met, you are embraced, and you are propelled into a divine unfolding that invariably transcends your deepest human comprehension. Demystifying the response. It's not what you ask for, it's what you need. We stand at a critical juncture in our understanding of divine interaction. For many, the expectation of a divine response is often framed in very human, very tangible terms. We cry out, pouring our hearts into a specific request, a clearly defined problem that we believe only God can resolve. We envision an outcome, a particular solution to our particular dilemma, much like placing an order and awaiting its delivery. We ask for the storm to cease, the illness to vanish, the door to open, or the path to clear. And when these specific outcomes do not immediately materialize, a quiet disappointment, sometimes even a profound doubt, begins to settle in. We might begin to question if our cry was truly heard, if our faith was insufficient, or if perhaps the divine simply isn't listening. This is precisely where we need to demystify the response. The true power of crying out to God with faith often lies not in receiving precisely what we ask for, but in receiving precisely what we need for our ultimate spiritual growth and well-being. Consider this. The Creator of the universe, who knows the very number of hairs on your head and the deepest longings of your heart before you even articulate them, possesses a wisdom that infinitely surpasses our own limited perspective. Our human pleas, though sincere, are often born from a constricted view of our circumstances, a narrow understanding of the intricate tapestry of our lives. We see the immediate obstacle. God sees the entire journey, the lessons, the character forged in the fire, the strength discovered in the wilderness. Think of it not as a simple transaction, but as a profound act of divine provision that transcends our immediate wants. When you cry out in faith for relief from a difficult situation, the response might not be the situation's immediate removal. Instead, it could be an infusion of supernatural peace that stills the turmoil within, allowing you to navigate the storm with an unshakable calm. It could be an unexpected surge of courage, empowering you to confront a challenge that once seemed insurmountable. The answer might manifest as a sudden clarity of thought, a divine discernment that illuminates a path you had previously overlooked, shifting your entire perspective on the problem. It is the equipping, the strengthening, the transformation of you, rather than merely the alteration of your external circumstances. Imagine crying out for a closed door to open, and the divine response, instead of prying that specific door ajar, provides you with the resilience, the ingenuity, and the strength to scale the wall beside it, leading you to an even grander vista. Or perhaps you plead for the darkness to dissipate, to be flooded with light. And the answer, instead of instantly banishing the shadows, sharpens your vision, allowing you to perceive beauty and purpose even within the dimness, guiding your steps through what once seemed an impenetrable gloom. The profound truth here is that God's responses are perfectly tailored, not to our fleeting desires, but to our eternal needs. They build character, deepen faith, and draw us closer to the heart of the one who understands us beyond measure. This paradigm shift is crucial for understanding the true dynamic of faith-filled prayer. It liberates us from the frustration of unmet expectations and opens our hearts to receive the myriad ways in which the divine continuously intervenes. It means recognizing that sometimes the greatest answers come not as the removal of a burden, but as the strengthening of our shoulders to carry it, knowing we do not carry it alone. It teaches us that grace, that unmerited favor, is not just a concept, but a tangible, empowering force that becomes our sufficiency even when our own strength fails. As the sacred texts remind us, sometimes the response to our deepest prayers is simply, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." This profound revelation lays the groundwork for understanding how our faith, far from being a passive belief, actively tunes us into a frequency where this divine empowerment becomes our lived reality, connecting us to a power far greater than ourselves. Now let's delve deeper into this profound connection, moving beyond the expectation of a transactional response and into the realm of true spiritual activation. Have you ever considered faith not merely as a belief, a conviction in your mind, but as something far more dynamic, more energetic, almost like a frequency? Think of it this way: the divine presence, the infinite power of God, is always there, omnipresent, surrounding us, permeating every fiber of existence. Yet often we feel disconnected, unable to tap into that boundless source, unable to experience the fullness of its power in our lives. Why is this so? Perhaps it's because we haven't quite tuned in. Imagine a radio station broadcasting powerful, beautiful music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The music is always there, always being sent out. But unless your radio is tuned to the exact frequency, unless it's aligned to that specific channel, all you hear is static, or worse, deafening silence. The problem isn't the station, the problem is the receiver. In the same vein, faith is that spiritual tuner. It's the act of aligning your spirit, your heart, your entire being with the divine frequency of God's will and presence. It's how your connection doesn't just ask but actively activates the divine in your life in ways that transcend mere petition. This isn't about conjuring God, as if he were some genie in a bottle. Rather, it's about making yourself receptive, opening the channels, preparing the soil of your heart to receive what is already being poured out. When your faith is genuinely active, it creates a resonance, a spiritual vibration that aligns with the very essence of God's power. It's not a passive hope. It is an act of trust, a deep-seated knowing that something beyond human comprehension is at work. This alignment isn't about bargaining, isn't about convincing God to do something he is reluctant to do. It is about aligning your will with his, recognizing that his desire to bless, to heal, to guide, to transform is infinitely greater than your capacity to ask. We sometimes fall into the trap of thinking our faith needs to be perfect, immense, or unwavering at every second. Yet even a mustard seed of faith, a seemingly insignificant speck, possesses the power to move mountains. This suggests that the quality of faith, its authenticity and its direction, matters more than its perceived quantity. It's the decision to trust, even when logic screams otherwise, even when circumstances seem bleak, that truly tunes you in. It's a deep spiritual posture of reliance, a giving over of control, a humble acknowledgement that there is a higher intelligence, a greater love, at play. This act of surrender, paradoxically, is the ultimate act of power for the believer. Consider the profound stories woven throughout ancient texts, where individuals facing insurmountable odds were not given a meticulously detailed plan, but were simply called to step out in faith. It wasn't their intellectual understanding of how the miracle would occur, nor their exhaustive list of merits, but their unwavering commitment to believe in the unseen, to act upon the whisper of the divine, that unlocked extraordinary outcomes. Their faith wasn't a formula, it was a relationship, a profound trust in the character of God. This alignment of heart and spirit doesn't just ask for a response, it becomes a conduit for divine energy, a participant in the unfolding of God's will on earth. It's less about a grand display and more about a quiet, persistent attunement. This frequency of faith challenges the modern paradigm that demands instant gratification and verifiable proof. It asks us to cultivate patience, to foster a deep inner quietness where the subtle whispers of divine guidance can be heard amidst the clamor of the world. It's a call to move beyond merely believing in God and toward believing God, trusting his word, his character, his promises, even when the evidence of our senses suggests otherwise. This active belief, this unwavering trust, is the key that unlocks the door to a reciprocal relationship, where your earnest cry is met not just with an answer, but with an invitation into a deeper, more intimate experience of the divine. It's about recognizing that you are not simply an observer in this spiritual dance, but an active, indispensable participant whose faith truly activates the grand symphony of God's interaction with humanity. The journey into understanding the divine response takes an intriguing turn when we begin to perceive the vast array of forms it can assume. We've explored how our faith acts as a spiritual frequency, aligning us with the boundless power of God. But what does this alignment actually look like when God chooses to respond? Too often our human imagination limits the divine, boxing God into a set of predictable reactions, expecting a booming voice from the heavens or a dramatic parting of a sea. Yet the truth is far more nuanced, far more intimate, and profoundly tailored to the intricate tapestry of your life. God meets you, not just in the grand, undeniable miracles, but in the quiet, often overlooked, everyday experiences. Consider for a moment the moments in your life when you felt a profound, inexplicable peace settle over you amidst utter chaos. You were facing a storm, a devastating diagnosis, an unforeseen financial crisis, or a fractured relationship, and your heart was naturally racing, your mind overwhelmed with worry. You cried out, perhaps silently, perhaps with tears streaming down your face, for an end to the turmoil. And while the storm raged on externally, an unshakable tranquility began to well up from within. This peace, which defies all logical understanding, is a divine response. It is God meeting you in your distress, not by removing the problem, but by fortifying your spirit, by granting you an inner sanctuary where the world's clamor cannot penetrate. It's a quiet assurance, a gentle whisper to your soul that you are not alone, that you are held, even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Sometimes the divine response comes through the most unexpected messengers. You might be wrestling with a decision, praying for guidance, and then, seemingly out of nowhere, a friend shares a seemingly casual comment that illuminates your path with crystal clarity. Or a passage from a book, an unfamiliar song on the radio, or even a fleeting thought that sparks an entirely new perspective, offering precisely the wisdom you needed. God, in His infinite creativity, uses the fabric of our everyday lives to speak to us, to guide us, to respond to our deepest longings. It's a reminder that the sacred isn't confined to grand cathedrals or moments of overt spirituality. It permeates every corner of our existence, waiting to be recognized by a heart attuned by faith. These are the still, small voices mentioned in ancient texts, not always thunderous pronouncements, but gentle nudges that redirect, reassure, or reveal. And then there are the no's or the not yets, which, though often painful and confusing in the moment, are perhaps some of the most profound divine responses. We pray for a specific door to open, investing all our hope in that single outcome. When it remains shut, the disappointment can be crushing. But what if that closed door is God's gentle yet firm redirection? What if that no is protecting you from a path that, while seemingly desirable now, would ultimately lead to regret or harm? What if it's steering you towards an infinitely better, more fulfilling path that you couldn't have envisioned from your limited vantage point? It requires a deep trust, a radical faith, to accept that even the absence of what we desperately desire can be a loving, divine intervention, sculpting a future far grander than our initial requests could ever comprehend. This type of response builds patience, resilience, and a deeper understanding that God's plan is always perfect, even when it diverges from our own. Ultimately, where God meets you in His response is not just in the outcome, but intimately within the process. It's in the strength you discover you didn't know you possessed when facing adversity, the wisdom gained through hardship, the compassion cultivated through your own suffering, which then enables you to minister to others. The divine response is not always a miraculous alteration of external reality, but often a profound transformation of your inner world. It is the equipping, the refining, the molding of your character to reflect more of the divine itself. This multitude of responses, subtle yet powerful, reminds us that a faith-filled cry never goes unanswered. It merely invites us to open our eyes and hearts wider, to recognize the countless, beautiful ways in which our loving Creator continuously engages with us, guiding us, sustaining us, and ultimately meeting us right where we are. We've spoken about the quiet peace that settles in, the unexpected messengers, and even the divine wisdom in a closed door. These are all profound ways in which God responds to our faith-filled cry, meeting us where we are. But now let's shift our perspective slightly, moving from what God does for us to what He activates within us. Have you ever considered that your fervent, faith-filled cry isn't just about eliciting an external response from the divine, but also about unlocking a magnificent, divine potential that already resides deep within your own being? This is where the reciprocal impact of faith truly shines, transforming you into a vessel, a participant, and even a manifestation of the very answers you seek for yourself and for the world around you. Think about it. We are created in God's image, imbued with echoes of His creativity, His love, His strength, and His purpose. Yet sometimes these inherent qualities, these divine seeds within us, lie dormant, obscured by doubt, fear, or the pressures of life. When you cry out to God with authentic faith, you are not merely asking for a solution. You are also, in a profound spiritual sense, asking for the full activation of who you were created to be. Your faith becomes the catalyst that awakens latent courage you never knew you possessed, ignites discernment that cuts through confusion, and kindles a resilience that allows you to face anything. It's a deep inner work, a spiritual awakening that transcends mere circumstance management. Consider the times you faced an impossible situation, and after crying out in prayer, felt an inexplicable surge of strength or a sudden, clear thought guiding you forward. That wasn't just an external intervention. It was the power of God working through you, utilizing the very gifts and capacities He placed within your spirit. Your faith didn't just move God, it moved you. It propelled you to act, to speak, to forgive, to persevere, to create, in ways you might have deemed impossible just moments before. This is the essence of being equipped for every good work, of finding your sufficiency not in your own limited resources, but in the boundless wellspring of the divine within you. It's a dynamic partnership where your surrender to God's will, empowers your human spirit beyond its natural limits. This shift in perspective is crucial because it moves us beyond a passive reception of blessings to an active participation in God's ongoing work in the world. When your heart is transformed by faith, when your spirit is quickened by the divine response, you naturally become an agent of change, a source of light, a beacon of hope for others. The comfort you received in your distress, the wisdom you gained in your confusion, the strength you found in your weakness. These are not just for your sole benefit. They are gifts meant to be shared, allowing you to become a tangible response to someone else's cry. You become the hand that helps, the voice that encourages, the wisdom that guides, extending the divine touch into the lives around you. This reciprocal impact means that your faith is never a solitary journey. It connects you not only to the Creator, but also to the vast tapestry of humanity. When you are empowered by God, you are empowered to serve, to love, to build, to restore. The unlocking of your divine potential through faith is not just about personal blessing. It is about becoming a blessing, fulfilling your unique purpose in the grand design. It's about discovering that the very act of crying out in faith not only brings God's power into your life, but also releases His power through your life. It's a beautiful, dynamic flow where receiving leads to giving, and giving leads to even deeper receiving. Your faith, therefore, is not merely a bridge to God's answers. It is the ignition switch for the divine potential within you, transforming you into a living testament to His unending grace and boundless love. We've journeyed through the intricate tapestry of divine interaction, exploring how our faith acts as a tuning fork for spiritual connection, and how God's responses manifest in myriad, often unexpected ways, not least by unlocking a powerful potential within ourselves. Now, having understood these profound dynamics, we arrive at the most crucial juncture, the invitation to practice, the calling to authentic cry. It is one thing to comprehend these truths intellectually, and quite another to integrate them into the living, breathing rhythm of your spiritual walk. This isn't merely a theoretical exercise. It is an urgent call to experience the transformative power firsthand. The challenge before you is simple yet profound: to move beyond the intellectual assent to these ideas and embrace the vulnerability of a genuine, unadorned cry to the divine. You might ask, but how do I truly cry out with authentic faith? How do I ensure my voice is heard amidst the clamor of my own doubts and the noise of the world? The answer lies not in perfecting your words or achieving a state of flawless certainty, but in the raw honesty of your heart. An authentic cry is not eloquent prose. It is the unfiltered expression of your soul's deepest needs, fears, and hopes, laid bare before your Creator. It is the shedding of pretense, the letting go of pride, and the humble admission that you cannot navigate this journey alone. This cry requires a surrender, a willingness to release your tightly held expectations about how God should respond, or what His answer should look like. It means trusting that His wisdom far surpasses your own limited understanding. It means opening yourself to the possibility that the very solution you envision might not be the highest good for your soul, and that His path, though sometimes circuitous, ultimately leads to a destination of deeper peace and greater purpose. When you cry out with this level of authenticity, you are not attempting to manipulate the divine into fulfilling your agenda. You are aligning your heart with His, declaring your readiness to receive whatever He deems best, in whatever form it may take. This act of relinquishment, this laying down of control, paradoxically opens the floodgates for divine intervention in ways you could never have orchestrated. This call to authentic cry is also an invitation to an active, engaged faith. It is not a passive plea uttered once and then forgotten. It is a persistent posture of trust, a continuous turning of your heart towards the source of all strength. It is recognizing that even when you feel the most broken, the most lost, the most unheard, that very feeling can be transformed into a powerful prayer when offered with an open spirit. Think of a child crying out to a loving parent, not always with articulate words, but with an unmistakable plea that speaks directly to the parent's heart. That child trusts that they will be heard, that their need will be met, not necessarily in the exact manner they might conceive, but always with love and provision. Your heavenly parent hears your cry with an even greater, more perfect love. So how do you begin? Find a quiet moment in the stillness of your morning or the solitude of your evening. Close your eyes and allow your heart to speak. Don't worry about sounding spiritual or using the right words. Just express what is truly on your mind, what weighs heavily on your spirit, what you deeply yearn for. Speak your doubts, your anxieties, your desires. Then breathe and listen, not necessarily for an audible voice, but for the subtle shift within you, for the peace that settles, for the new thought that emerges, for the gentle nudge to take a particular step. This practice, consistently applied, cultivates a sensitivity to the divine, allowing you to perceive the myriad ways in which God is already moving in your life, even before you formally articulate your needs. Embrace this sacred practice not as a ritual, but as an ongoing dialogue, a continuous conversation with the one who knows you intimately. The divine response you seek might already be unfolding around you, subtly woven into the fabric of your everyday existence. It might be in the unexpected kindness of a stranger, the profound insight from a friend, the quiet strength found in perseverance, or the clarity that illuminates a complex decision. The invitation is to remain open, to keep your spiritual eyes and ears attuned, recognizing that when you cry out to God with unwavering, authentic faith, you are not just heard, you are met, you are embraced, and you are empowered to navigate this life with an unshakable sense of purpose and divine companionship. We have journeyed together, exploring the profound truth that your cry of faith is never truly lost in the void, but resonates deeply within the heart of the divine. We've unraveled the layers of what a response truly means, moving beyond mere expectation to embrace a transformative process where God often gives us what we need rather than just what we ask for. We've tuned into the understanding that faith isn't just a belief, but a powerful frequency, an active alignment that sets in motion forces beyond our comprehension. And we've recognized that God meets us in countless, often subtle ways, through inexplicable peace, unexpected messengers, or even the wise redirection of a closed door. Most importantly, we've discovered that your faith-filled cry isn't just about receiving from God, but about unlocking a divine potential within you, empowering you to become a vessel of His grace and an active participant in His unfolding purposes. This exploration culminates in a powerful realization. Your journey of faith is dynamic, reciprocal, and intensely personal. It is a continuous conversation, a sacred dance between your yearning spirit and the boundless love of your Creator. The questions you bring, the prayers you lift, the very act of surrendering your vulnerabilities, all contribute to a magnificent symphony of spiritual growth and divine intervention. It is not about perfect theology or faultless conduct. It is about the posture of your heart, laid bare in humble trust. It is about believing even when you cannot see, trusting even when you cannot fully comprehend, and crying out, knowing you are heard and eternally cherished. So, as we conclude this profound discussion, I want to leave you with a challenge, an invitation that extends far beyond the confines of this message. Do not let these insights remain mere information. Allow them to permeate your spirit, to reshape your understanding, and to ignite a fresh, authentic fire in your walk of faith. Begin to observe your life with new eyes, discerning the subtle nudges, the quiet comforts, the unexpected turns that are, in fact, the manifold answers to your deepest cries. The divine response is not always a dramatic pronouncement. It is often a gentle presence, a guiding hand, a renewed strength within your very core. Perhaps you've been carrying a burden in silence or wrestling with a question that feels too heavy to voice. This is your moment. This is your invitation to engage in that authentic cry, to pour out your heart without reservation, and then to anticipate with an open and discerning spirit the multifaceted ways in which the divine will meet you. Remember, the journey of faith is one of constant discovery, where every challenge becomes an opportunity for a deeper encounter, and every sincere cry opens the door to a more intimate understanding of God's perfect love and unwavering faithfulness. If this message has resonated with you, if it has sparked a flicker of hope or illuminated a new path in your understanding of God's interaction, then I encourage you to take that next step. Share your own experiences, your own encounters with the divine response in the comments below. Your testimony, your unique story of faith and perseverance, might be the very beacon of hope that someone else desperately needs to navigate their own season of doubt. Engage with this community, share your journey, and let us uplift each other in this grand adventure of faith. And if you found value in this conversation, if it deepened your connection or offered a fresh perspective, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to the channel. By doing so, you help us continue to spread messages of hope, truth, and spiritual insight to those who are seeking. Always remember this fundamental truth. Your faith is not merely a whisper into the wind. It is a powerful, sacred frequency that connects you directly to the heart of the Creator. And when you cry out to God with that unwavering, authentic faith, you are not just heard. You are met, you are embraced, and you are propelled into a divine unfolding that invariably transcends your deepest human comprehension. Your faith is always, irrevocably, profoundly responded to.